Hey everybody, welcome back to the Indecisive Collector. My name is Nancy and today I'm showing you how to make your own personalized pencil bag for under $5. So I was at the store the other day and I wanted to get a pencil bag for my trip that I'm going on, and I didn't see any of them that I really liked, and they were all really expensive. I was very surprised that they were all $5 and up. And I was like, well, for $5 I can make my own. So I decided to do just that. I got 3 pieces of fabric right here. And you only need one if you're going to make a simple bag, but this is going to be a 3-colored bag. So you're going to need 3 fat quarters, which is what they're called. You get them for $1 a piece at Walmart. 1 9-inch zipper. It could be any color you want. They're about $1.47, and this is under $5 if you already have your needle, thread, and scissors, which I do. But if you have to go buy those separately, it may be a little bit more, but it won't be over $10. So let's get started. I am showing you all a very sped up video of a live stream I did where I basically made a pencil bag out of 3 colors. This bag that you're seeing here, the green one that you're going to see a lot, I actually made myself with 1 piece of fabric, a sewing needle, and some thread and a zipper. It was actually really easy to make because all you do is take the fabric, fold it over, sew the sides, sew the zipper, and you're done. So it's really easy, and it holds pretty much any size pencil that's not like one of those gag giant ones. So all you need for that is a 9-inch zipper. If you get anything smaller, I'm not sure if everything will fit comfortably, but for me a 9-inch zipper fit everything perfectly, and anything bigger you might as well just have a giant purse. So what I did here is I am doing a 3-toned bag, so I'm making the inside first, and what you're seeing here is basically how you make a regular bag. All I did was cut a square of fabric, fold it in half about this, and I cut it to the size of the zipper, and I used my actual bag that I had made the day before to measure it, and that's all you're doing. You just sew the sides just like that. Also, don't forget to practice safety while sewing because you don't want to prick yourself while you're doing this or get your finger caught with the needle. I personally like to triple stitch it, and the stitch I'm doing is just like a really simple in and out, in and out. I don't know what it's called, but it's the only stitch I've ever learned. And I like to go up and down 3 times just to make sure the bag is extremely secure so that it could be used for a really long time. So you're going to do that on both sides, and it's going to leave an opening at the top. If you just want a simple 1-color bag, you're just going to do that and add the zipper. When you add the zipper, you sew it upside down with the little dangly part that you pull to be facing inside the bag while you're sewing. And then when you are done sewing the zipper on, you well, you're going to have to unzip it anyways because of when you're on the zipper, whatever. But you're going to open it up, turn it inside out, and the zipper will be on the outside. So usually, if you use a sewing machine for this, it'll be much faster. This stream I did took me about 3 hours to do, but I was doing a 3-tone bag and I did have to do a few extra steps. So it's actually about a 20 to 30 minute project if you take your time, and it's about a 15 to 20 minute project if you use a sewing machine, maybe even less, because I haven't used a sewing machine with this yet, but it's probably like a lot faster than what I was doing. And what you saw earlier, or what that white mark is I was just basically marking off the sizes that I wanted for the bag so I could make sure that the zipper would fit correctly, that it was the size that I wanted, because I didn't want the bag to be too long because it's the right width, but I didn't want it to be like super long and have like a weird shape to it. And when you turn it inside out, that's what the bag is going to look like basically. But when you sew the zipper on, as I was showing you very quickly, you put the zipper with that little dangly part facing inward. So I wanted to put the outside to be 2 different colors. So if you're going to do that, instead of just taking 1 square fabric and folding it in half, you're going to take the 2 fabrics, make sure they're the same size, just the way I'm doing right here, and then you're going to cut it down the middle, because, well, not down the middle of that square, you're going to unfold it the way you see here. Fold it in half with both of the pieces of fabric kind of overlapping on each other, and then you're going to cut that part that is folded over. Then what I did was I took the purple bag that I made and I measured it to the blue and green bag to make sure that they were the right size, because the blue and green bag are going to go on the outside and the purple part of the bag has to be on the inside. So with this one it's a little bit more difficult because you don't have that fold in the bottom that you don't have to sew. With this one you have to sew all the way around because you're going to have a giant hole in the bottom if you don't. Excuse me. So I did the same thing I did with the purple bag, and I sewed the two shorter sides, and then you have to sew the longer side at the bottom. And I like to sew the bottom part the way I do the shorter sides by doing like sometimes a double or a triple stitch. It's really up to you how secure you want the bag, but in my opinion, you have to do more than one stitch going up and down because it will fall apart, or when you turn it inside out you will see big gaps in the fabric and it'll look really weird and probably not finished. You don't have to worry about it looking absolutely perfect, because when you turn the bag inside out you're not going to see these stitches and you're not going to see the fabric that's sticking out on the corners that you see there. It's all going to be on the inside of the bag, especially if you do this bag that I'm doing where it's basically 3 different colors or 3 different fabrics. You are going to have an inside thing so that you're not going to see any stitches at all. If you do a regular bag like the way I made the green one that I showed you all, it will obviously show some of the stitching on the inside, but it's not like you don't see that with other different you know, bags. It's all basically the same thing. If you want to watch the live stream that I did, it is 3 hours long, fair warning, but my kitten shows up and I didn't cut any of this video. All I did was speed it up. So you're probably going to see my cat regardless of whether you watch the live stream or not. But if you want to watch the videos of my live stream when I do them, I'm going to go ahead and put a link below to my Twitch, or if you want to go to my channel, it's right up in the corner. And I turned the bag inside out just now, sorry. And I put the purple one on the inside to make sure that it would fit nicely. I turned it inside out again with the purple bag on the outside, so when I'm doing the stitching, it doesn't look too bad. What I did was I'm folding the blue and the purple towards the inside where that gap is, so that when I'm sewing the edges, that you don't see the big giant, what is it called? The hem sticking out with like all the ragged edges. When you sew it that way, and you're going to sew the zipper over this part anyways, but it just makes it look a lot nicer on the inside. All you do is take the 2 fabrics, fold them towards the little area at the inside, and then you stitch that together, just basically stitching it together the way you normally would, except you're not letting it show that it has the really ragged edges. And then I took a little break for a bit because I had to go get some water, and this is a live stream and I couldn't exactly pause it, but I'm measuring the zipper out to make sure it's fitting well, and the part that I already sewed so that it looked nice, I'm just sewing the zipper onto it. As you can see, the zipper looks kind of weird because it's gonna go on the inside right now, and you'll see why. But I did end up having to unzip it before I sewed the other side, just so I could make sure that I would turn it inside out and not have to like weirdly unzip it from the inside with the fabric. And I'm sorry for the small interruption there, so you don't get to see me completely sew the zipper on, but there's not really anything to it. You put the fabric that you are going to be using for the outside onto the rim or the edge of the zipper, and you sew that part on it because that's the part that you're going to be seeing on the outside when you open up the zipper. And there's Lilith. She wanted to be in there too. I suggest when you do this that you get the same color thread of the fabric. I didn't have green and blue, so I used purple thread, and in my opinion it could have looked a lot nicer and more professional if I used the thread that corresponds to the color. So you could go ahead and do that, but it's really up to you. If you like for the stitching the show, then that's your decision and you get to make that decision because it's your bag. This bag, I used the fat quarters, and they were about $1 a piece at Walmart. You could make this bag for under $4. So that's mostly if you have already a sewing needle, thread, etc. because all you really need is fabric, and the fabric that you can make a regular sized pencil bag that will hold a lot of pens and pencils is just those fat quarters that cost $1, but it depends on the kind of pattern you want to get for it. In my opinion, I feel like these ended up looking like this ended up looking like an 80s bag or 90s bag, but these are the colors that are my brother's favorite colors, and it's his birthday and I wanted to make him something really cool, so that's how I came up with this. I ended up sewing that side, and you see a little bit better about what I mean, folding in the two fabrics while you sew them to make sure that the fringes don't show. And then when I'm sewing onto the zipper with the green section, I'm making sure the green section is the one that's touching the zipper, because if the purple section touches the zipper when I'm sewing it, it's going to come out really awkward looking. So I was trying to do the green fabric to touch it, because when you turn it inside out, that's going to be the part that's showing. If you do it the opposite, it's going to look really awkward and weird. But I stitched it twice on the zipper. I do suggest maybe 3 times if you're doing it by hand, but this ended up being just enough for the bag I was doing because the fabric was not very thick. You can use different kinds of fabric. It might be a little bit more expensive depending on the fabric that you choose, but if you use the fat quarters from Walmart or wherever they sell those squares of fabric that are basically leftovers, then you could pretty much do this for under $4, and it's your own personalized bag. It looks really cool. I really like how it ended up coming out. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comments below so I know what to do. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Bye!